Hey everybody, so today at Off the Line Performance,
we're gonna turbo the Corvette! How's it going, guys? We're back here on another episode of our C8 twin turbo build. Right now we're diagnosing some fuel pump stuff with the car. We're checking to see exactly how the Motec activates the fuel pump relay that we have in the front of the car. Because if you remember, this whole system kind of runs standalone from the existing fuel system. So we're just making sure that we got fuel pressure on the lines when we need it, and then we're going to be tuning the car. So we had a few issues with RPM signal. I fixed that, and it was just some wiring issues. Wires were mixed around, and it wasn't matching our actual wiring diagram. So we just flipped that. Turns out it works. So it's just pinned in correctly. And then other than that, we have everything else working. So right now it's just fuel pressure that we're focusing on, and then we should be able to get it on the dyno tune.
so is these right here, so the clock one
I got
And then what are these other three for?
spare inputs.
So yellow, blue, yellow, green, and purple, green.
Got one more thing to wire. Well, probably two more things because we had to do the upshift wire too. So it can be fun.
What's going on?
So to give you guys a quick update, the system and wiring that's on this car is not exactly the same as any of the other Corvettes that are running the ETS kit with the Motec.
So here's what we're gonna do. Gonna make a little, just gonna extend this up to here and ground it right there.
Yep.
And then just take that bolt out, put a ring terminal on it, put it back on.
Yep.
Should be good right there.
Okay. Just gonna do a chassis ground for our CAN bus signal, because right now the CAN bus signal, to explain it real quick, there's a high and a low frequency, and basically CAN bus is used you can use multiple sensors off of like the same two wires. So in this case, we're running a bank 1 and a bank 2 air fuel ratio sensors. We're using AEM sensors for that. So on this setup, it wasn't grounded. So the 12 volts that were going into our AEMs weren't getting grounded. And our CAN bus high and low weren't set up in the Motec either. So that's all set up. The last thing to do is literally ground it, and then they should turn on, and then we'll have bank 1, which is driver side, and bank 2, which is passenger side air fuel ratios to go off of, and then we can officially start tuning it. So the Corvette build is finally coming to a close. We got some exciting stuff coming up. It is officially time to dyno it. So I actually sent Dustin over down the road to get some race gas. So we're putting some unleaded race fuel into the front tank, and obviously that tank runs by itself. So I guess we'll figure out what the mileage is, like how fast we use gas. Knowing me as a driver, I'll probably go through gas pretty quick. But the whole car's together. We got the 2017 Acura NSX wheels on the car, and they turned out really nice, and they're just a direct fitment. We need hub-centric rings, and then I'm gonna put a spacer in the front just to get it to sit really flush. But whole car's together. I kind of placed the rear bumper on the car just cause to see how it looked. So don't mind any of this. But yeah, it just looks like another stock Corvette, but with NSX wheels. So I'm really proud of how it turned out fitment wise. I can't thank Extreme Turbo Systems enough for creating such a well-fitting kit, and obviously for helping out on the build. So I'm really excited. I'm hoping in the future that we get some customers in that want to do the kit. Obviously there's a massive range in how much power you can make with the kit, but the stage 1 simple kit, we can just put turbos on the car and we don't even need to do any tuning on it. So pretty awesome. Starts up, drive, there's no check engine lights, so it's a pretty badass setup. See how much power it makes on the dyno now. All right, so I think it's time. We got the car all strapped up. I ended up going off to the straps for the lower control arms. It was kind of interesting to figure out how to strap a C8 Corvette on the dyno for my first time. And then the front wheels, we just strapped those. So we should be all good. I'm gonna obviously set the gear ratio for the dyno, so we just have to put it in our closest 1-to-1 gear, and then kind of hit the set button on the dyno so we get a accurate reading on the RPM for our graph. And then I'm just gonna make sure that there's no like dyno mode or anything, that like the ABS is not gonna like act up for the rear wheel spinning and the front's not. I don't think so, but we'll see. Usually these newer cars have a dyno setting that you need to put it into. But other than that, we're all good to go. I'm gonna try to do a low boost hit for the first pull, and we'll see how much power it makes.
Third gear first, it might spin though. So he's gonna calibrate. As soon as we hit 3,000, and I calibrate it.
So we've made our first like 4 or 5 pulls on the dyno. I've just been slowly increasing power, and the dyno just seems to like, the car doesn't want to be on the dyno, and I've tried turning everything off and it likes that worse, so we've just left it on and then just had the traction control light on while we do the pull. But I keep we're giving it more power on the Motec, like it's showing it's making way more manifold pressure, so, and the fuel is perfect. So as of right now, it was making like 560, and we've increased the boost quite a bit, so it's probably somewhere around the 600 area. The dyno says it's reading low, so I might recalibrate it and do it in a different gear. We'll see. The dyno jets don't necessarily have a calibration, but they have a gear speed. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna actually plug the dyno computer into the Corvette via the OBD2 port, and see if we can get the RPM directly from that. So I have a feeling it's probably spinning a little bit too, so I don't know. Sounds fucking badass though, so.
Got 568 and 517 foot-pounds of torque. It's probably going to be around like 550 actually, because it did shift into 5th gear just like right at the end before I let off. That was a 75% throttle pull, so, but that's pretty good. But 550, 568, we need more than that. So I'm going to give it a little bit more sauce. I got some adjusting to do on the map. Fuel-wise, everything looks good though, so let's try to see if we can get a little bit more. So we had the car on the dyno. It made roughly like 570 is what the dyno was telling us, but for some reason the Corvette just doesn't like the dyno jet. It doesn't like having just the rear wheels rolling, and I understand, oh, it's an all-wheel drive dyno jet, just run that. Well, that's meant for purely all-wheel drive cars. When I've had rear-wheel drive cars on in the past, so I'll turn that off. When I've had rear-wheel drive cars on in the past, they actually end up, we actually end up breaking the spline. I don't know what it is. It's just like the belt tension type thing. It's a belt-driven all-wheel drive dyno. It just doesn't really work. So, and I've looked up for
if there's like dyno modes and everything like that. I'm sure there is, but you know, that's all we could do on our dyno. I just took it out for a street hit, and it's running really fucking good. We're making like well over 7 psi sometimes. I had it up to 1 bar of boost even at one point, which is way too much for the transmission, but it's at least doing it. So I'm gonna get some street logs probably later on tonight and just clean up the map that way. So the number that we have horsepower wise is not really the most accurate number, because it's just making more than what the dyno's reading. It was reading like plenty of torque. We're making over 600 pounds of torque, so it's doing good. But yeah, still some stuff to figure out with the factory ECU and the transmission controller that I'm working with. So I'm gonna do that, and then I need to set up the auto shift and everything too, just because the car doesn't really like getting hit off the rev limiter sometimes. So we'll see what's happening with that. But yep, that's pretty much it for this video. So make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and then if you guys want to make sure to hit that bell notification, and I'll keep you guys up to date on all of our videos, just in case, you know, some people I know don't hit their subscribed list on YouTube. The bell notification will let you know on your phone or tablet. So yeah, see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.